Clark is a candidate for Manassas City Council, and he joins us here on Potomac Local News today. Mr. Clark, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is your first bid for a run at City Council. However, you are no stranger to the city. You've served on quite a few boards, the Airport Commission being one of them. The Board of Zoning Appeals also is one that you have served on as well. Is it correct?
Actually, I've been on the Planning Commission. I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission. I've been on that since about 2007.
Oh, wow.
And I'm now the chairman. I've been the chairman since 2011. I've been on the Airport Commission, the Regional Airport Commission, since 2008, and I'm still a member of that. In about I think it's 2016, I was appointed by the Circuit Court to the Board of Equalization, and I'm now the chairman of the Board of Equalization. That's the board that handles appeals of assessments. So I'm very familiar with assessments. I do want to dig in a little bit of how they're doing the assessments and whether or not I think that they're good. I mean, they seem to have been going up quite a bit over the last few years.
So let's dive right into that, because this year the City Council, about 8 weeks into the pandemic, maybe a little bit less, they hiked the taxes on the average homeowner at least $200, if not more, than they paid last year. And property assessments continue to go up in the city. And Manassas now has the second highest residential tax rate in the state, next to Manassas Park. So when you talk about property assessments and addressing those, what exactly are you talking about?
Okay, there are really three pillars to the city budget. The first one is the city manager's budget. And we really have to scrutinize the city manager's budget, which he did this year. He really squeezed the city staff to make sure that they were buying only the essentials, because he realized that the pandemic was hitting us economically. It was hitting not only business owners, but residential owners or residential property owners, because some people have simply lost their jobs. So he really squeezed the city budget, city staff, to buy only the essentials. The second pillar of of taxes is the assessments, and I think that next year we're going to see a lot of appeals to the Board of Equalization, because people are going to be that's the time that people are going to have been affected by the pandemic. Actually, assessments go from 1 January to 1 January. So the assessment is of the city, of the property value as of 1 January. That was before the pandemic hit.
So are you saying that properties are expected to be assessed for more, even though people still may be feeling the effects of the pandemic, maybe some jobless claims, things like that?
They probably will be, this year on 1 January, they probably will be assessed for less. But we'll still have, well, I'm sure we'll still have appeals. Right now, the assessments are made as of 1 January. So people, we had one appeal on the Board of Equalization, which actually was dropped because the assessment was based on the value as of 1 January. Next January, it's going to be based on the value as of 1 January 2021. But I still anticipate that next year the Board of Equalization is going to have appeals. But that's one of those things that I'm going to dig into is the Commissioner of Revenue. How are you doing the assessments, and how are you taking into effect the economic effect of the pandemic? So that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is kind of the headline, and that is the rate. And in fact, this time the city manager came in. He had a balanced budget. He squeezed the staff, so he had a balanced budget at a rate of $1.44. The city staff, ignoring the fact that we had a pandemic, or city council, ignoring the fact we had a pandemic, ignoring the economic loss from that pandemic and how people were hurting, they raised the assessment to $1.46. At one point, there was some talk about raising it or keeping it at $1.48, which I don't understand. I'm really mystified as to why the city council did that.
And those for those who may be wondering that $1.44, $1.40, those figures that we're giving, that is the amount of tax charge per $100 of value for every property. Just so
$100 of assessed value.
You know, for so many years, we've heard candidates and those who are on the city council say that we are investing into the city. If you look at the capital investment plan for the city, there are many different projects on it. You know, one broke ground last month. It's a new police department, a public safety agency. There are some road projects that are coming down the park. Schools are always looking for new opportunities for to house more students, more faculty. It's a growing place. So how do you balance the need for affordable taxes with the needs of a growing city?
We have to look at the economic impact of the surrounding area and the economic environment of the city in order to come up with a reasonable tax rate and reasonable assessments so that the city owners, business owners, and property owners aren't forced out of the city. For people like me, you know, I can afford increased taxes. I can afford the extra couple $100 a year of property taxes. There are a lot of, and I'm hoping that I can continue to afford it if we keep on pushing the tax rate up. But there are a lot of people in the city who can't afford it. Manassas is a very diverse and vibrant community. We have residents here of all types, all races, all income levels. And that contributes to the vibrancy and diverse nature of our city. I want that to stay that way. I don't want all of the residents who are close to the edge on their income be forced out of the city. And I know that there was at least one candidate for city council who said, well, if you can't afford the taxes, you should move out. You know, and we get people who can afford the taxes that'll move in here, but we're losing a diverse part and of an important part of our city.
I drove by one of your campaign signs this morning and it said plain as day, business advocate. And I know that we've written many stories in the past 3 to 4 years of Manassas wooing big businesses, including one of the Micron expansion. That's the largest public-private partnership in the state of Virginia in modern history. And so whether it be Micron or Aurora Flight Sciences, which also expanded out there in the airport, Manassas has seen a windfall of good big business news. But I've heard you say you are an advocate for small businesses.
Small and locally owned businesses and the moderate-sized businesses. What my vision for the city is that we have a vibrant, diverse city that has a very vibrant small and moderate-sized business community. And they would be anchored by the large businesses, as you mentioned, the Microns, the Lockheed Martins, the Aurora Flight Sciences. That's what I've been pushing as chairman of the Planning Commission. That's what I've been supporting as a member of the Airport Commission. The airport is in a very, very good financial state, and that's in no small part, due to the good, solid business community out at the airport. The franchise holders, we've got another franchise holder just about ready to open, Chantilly Air. Out there, we've had Aurora Flight Sciences, which is a subsidiary of Boeing that is expanding. So that's a sort of vibrant community that I want. Some of them are small businesses, some of them are mid-sized businesses, some of them are big businesses.
Education and schools are always an issue every year. Now, we know the city council is separate from the school board, but however, it's also known that the two boards, must work together, as your city, as the city council you're running for, is the primary funder of the school board. It provides the funding. So as the city continues to grow and education will, the need for it won't go away, how do you promote working the city council and the school board better working together in the years to come?
I talked to Dr. Newman about that. This is one of the first things I did was I made appointments with Dr. Newman
Who is
and
the
Pat
superintendent of city
Smalls, the
schools?
superintendent of schools. And one of the things that he said to me was he wanted the board, the school board, and the city council to work transparently with him. And that's what I intend to do is, and I'm a conciliator. I'm a compromiser. I realize that I can't come in there and say, well, you know, it's my way or the highway. And I've always worked with people and brought people from different, in 22 years in the Army, I worked with all kinds of people, every kind that you can imagine. I've always been able to bring people together and come to meet a common mission. So we have to work transparently with Dr. Newman and the city, the school board, and be just fair and upfront with them.
Where are the room? Where are those issues? Where is there room for improvement, do you think?
Well, first of all, that's one of the things I'm pushing also is to get the business community, the small and moderate. I say small and locally owned businesses, but I also want to involve the big businesses to work more closely and better with the school system. There is a program at the school system for vocational technical training. I've had a conversation with, I think it was the teacher that does auto mechanics. They teach auto mechanics, they teach carpentry, they teach, I think they teach electrical systems and so forth. They teach computer science. And there's a program to allow the businesses to get students to work with them as interns or apprentices. And we've gotten away from the apprentice program, which I think is a mistake. My intent, if I get on city council, is to work with the business community and educate them as to how to work with our education system. Dr. Newman told me that one of the things that he's frustrated with is some of these businesses think they can just pick up the phone and say, I need a kid, and I'll pay him X number of dollars, and the school system will provide them with a student. That doesn't work that way. When a student goes and works in the business community, say for instance, he goes and works in an electrical shop or a carpentry shop, that's an apprenticeship. And there has to be an agreement from the business that you're not just going to put this kid out there and make him the front end clerk and not teach him the parts of the business that he needs to know. He may be studying carpentry in the high school, but unless he gets out into the real world and actually is trained by a real carpenter to do the job, he won't be able to get a job once he graduates from high school. And, you know, not all the kids, not even most of the kids want to go to college. You know, there seems to be there has been, at least in my life, there has been this expectation of you're going to go to high school, then you're going to go to college. Well, most kids or a lot of kids don't want to do that. They're just not interested in college. They're not interested in that type of life. They want to work with their hands. They want to do something else. They want to be accountants, maybe, or they want to be chiropractors, or they want to be carpenters or plumbers. That's what we have to focus on, is getting the businesses to work with the school system better. And I'm planning to be an advocate and a conduit for that. You know, one of the things I can do, I'm 71 years old. I'm an old retired codger. So I am going to be a full-time council person. And I'm going to be there for the businesses, and I'm going to be there to assist the businesses in moving ahead, moving forward with the school system.
You know, finally, you know, we've seen since 2016 and especially in 2018 when it was solidified, the Democrats now control the council. But for years before that, it was dominated by Republicans. And so at the local level, how much does party really matter? And as you knock doors, what are you hearing from the voters?
I'm here. Well, I don't think that party politics, as for some people, party politics is important. They say, well, I'm a Democrat. I've knocked on doors and try to give them my lit, and they say, I say, I'm a Republican. They say, we don't want to even see you because we're Democrats. But the vast majority of people don't say I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. They will answer the door when they do answer the door because of the pandemic, and they'll listen to me. They'll read my literature. Same thing with people coming into early voting, in-person absentee voting. Excuse me. People, some of them or a lot of them would stop and they will listen to me. And my attitude is party politics at the local level don't matter very much. What matters is the experience of the people who are standing for election, their track record in terms of what they've done in terms of policy to help the citizens of the city, and what they offer to the city. And personally, I think I'm the most qualified candidate on the ballot. I've worked in the city with the city staff and the city government since 2002. I started out on the Parks and Recreation Committee. I got appointed to the Planning Commission. I took over chairmanship of the Planning Commission. I got appointed to the city to the Airport Commission. I was appointed also to the Freedom Aquatic and Fitness Center Advisory Board. My 22 years of military service has given me an appreciation for diverse thought and bringing people together. Then I spent 22 years as a defense contractor working in and around the Pentagon. Last 19 years, I worked for the Army G2, reviewing budgets of intelligence programs and budget execution. So I know how to review a budget. I've reviewed some pretty big ones, and I know how to read the justifications for those budgets and read between the lines of those justifications. So I'm good at finding fat in a budget. And sometime after this pandemic, after things get the economy becomes more robust, and I think it will, we can look at these quote unquote nice to have investments in the city, but not now.
Harry Clark is a candidate for the Manassas City Council. Thank you so much for coming on with us on Potomac Local News today and talking about your candidacy and voters. Go to the polls November 3rd. That is a Tuesday, not far from today. Again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on Potomac Local News.
Thanks for having me anytime.